Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Again, welcome everybody to episode 77 of Matterhorn Mondays. I am your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm your host, Alex the Historian.
And today, as you may have guessed from the title, we have Jeremy with us again. Why don't you say hello to the people?
Hello, everybody.
And we have an awesome, very amazing, very awesome, very wonderful stream planned for you guys today. We hope you all enjoy. But before we get started, as always, we do have a few announcements to make. Not really announcements. It's the things I say every week. We don't have any birthdays this week, but if you would like to have your, or I guess if you would like to have your birthday said aloud, it sounds weird when I say it like that. If you would like to be wished a happy birthday on the podcast, you can do so by heading to the link down in the description below. And I'm not sure if Nightbot is working today. Let's see, exclamation birthday. It should pop up with the link to submit your birthday, and the music is still playing. There, Nightbot's working. All right, so if you guys would like to be wished a happy birthday, follow that link right there, or like I said, down in the description below. And oh, Mountain says his was February 20th, so happy belated birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, very happy birthday to you. Yeah, like I said, no birthdays this week. I guess February's not a very popular month when it comes to birthing people. But second announcement, if you guys have not already, you should definitely join our Discord server. You can do exclamation Discord in the chat, or you can the link is in this the link is in the description, you guys, to our Discord channel. We have a very awesome server filled with a lot of amazing people. You'll feel right at home there if you like Disney stuff, or if you just want to talk. Yeah, we got a lot of people.
It's honestly the most lively Disney server on Discord that I've seen.
I say this often on the Discord when I feel sentimental, but I was telling Matt this, I think, just like the other night. But it's really because I've joined a few other Discords, like the Theme Park 2 Discord and the Offhand Discord, but I don't go on them at all because they seem very hectic and all over the place. This is the best Discord ever.
Yes, it definitely does have a culture, like Matthew
But
said.
you've dabbled in other Disney Discord servers before.
No. I actually have no point of reference, but I feel it in my body.
I just love putting you on the spot. Oh gosh, I'm having so much fun already.
Don't declare war, or we've even begun, Alex.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'm probably biased, but I do think we do have one of the best Disney Discord servers out there. Really great community, like I said, and if you would like to join, link is in the description below. I'll stop pounding my desk with my fist. I'm sorry, you guys. And second to last announcement. Did you guys know this channel is not just a podcast channel, you guys? We make actual videos other than the podcasts. If you didn't know that, we recently put out Historyland. Have you guys heard of Historyland? It's a really old series that Matterhorn Matt used to do, but we probably decided to bring it back. I'd say better than ever. If you guys haven't seen the latest Historyland on Fantasyland, definitely check it out. Link will be in the description below, or you can just click on my YouTube profile, and it should be the first video there. Well, I guess if you're listening to this after the live stream, it will be the second to most recent video. But Jeremy, do you have anything you'd like to say about the latest Historyland to these wonderful people?
Nothing. I think it's best to go in completely blind, with an open heart and an open mind. Enjoy.
Yes, it is definitely. Well, yeah, we'll get into it with Commentary Land later this Friday.
And don't forget to go into Matt's Patreon with an open wallet.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Go ahead, Alex. You're welcome for setting that up for you.
Thank you.
You guys can do exclamation Patreon if you'd like to help support the channel. Exclamation Patreon, you guys. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it would be greatly appreciated if you did, because we'll get into everything in the Commentary Land this Friday. But yeah, History Land is back. Yeah, I don't really know. I've never heard of History Land before. I hope the video is good. I heard it was really good, but yeah, Alex would also like to make an announcement about his channel, so I'll let Alex have the floor.
Yes, people. So for those of you who don't know, I also have a YouTube channel. I started it in 2016 after I left Disney, and I had created a history series called Disneyland History Today, which became a favorite amongst my viewers and stuff like that. And recently, on the 20th of this month, I had relaunched my channel after upgrading my equipment, both camera equipment and microphone, which, you know, a lot of people who are listening to the Matterhorn Mondays right now probably notice that my microphone sounds a lot better. So I completely am revamping and upgrading my channel and its content, and my history series is coming back. So there will be a new episode of Disneyland History Today, hopefully coming out later this week, as soon as possible. I'm actually working on the script starting today. I was doing some research. So anyway, please check out my channel. I'm sure Matt will post the link in the description below, and have a view of my new videos and subscribe. And yeah, so I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, Alex's channel is in the description as always. If you'd like to check him out, I believe his Twitter is in the description below as well. So is mine. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, Jeremy's Twitter will also be in the description below. If you'd like to follow all three of our Twitters, that'd be wonderful. But if not, then that's cool. You don't have to if you don't want to. But yeah, this is gonna be a great stream, you guys. I feel like I should quickly mention the topics we're gonna be getting into before we actually do news from the peak, so that way people who stop listening at this point will know that, oh, they're going to be talking about Epcot later, or, oh, they're going to be talking about a bunch of other cool stuff later. So yeah, we're going to be getting into the recent Epcot announcements that the Disney Parks blog posted just a few days ago. And we're also going to be getting into, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's been pretty low-key from what I've seen on Twitter and everything, but I want to talk briefly about Pixar SparkShorts, so we're going to get into that later. But before all of that, it is time for the weekly Snapple ceremony. I still don't have a name for this segment, but if you guys, I'm counting on you to come up with a name for this. I'll move the, what is this, I'll move the pop filter out of the way so you can see, and I'll change the camera angle maybe. There we go. Are you guys ready for this? Wonderful. Wonderful, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Matterhorn Mondays. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week. And yeah, on that note, let's get right into news from the peak. Where's the button? Here we go. That's not the right button. That is not the right button. All right, here we go.
We now present to you from the peak.
My Snapple is definitely not spilling all over the floor, but welcome to everybody's favorite segment on this show, News from the Peak. Our first bit of news. World of Color has returned, everybody. A soft opening happened just yesterday, the day of recording this, which would be the 22nd. I watched a live stream. It looked really nice. I couldn't really tell if anything was broken or not, but I'd love to hear people who know more about the technical side, I guess, of World of Color to see if anything...
Oh, it was broken.
Was it broken? Alex, why don't you explain to us? Because I have no idea.
I love how I always accidentally volunteer myself for this stuff. I watched an HD version of the World of Color soft opening, and granted, it is a soft opening, so it hadn't officially opened when I saw this video, but there were some fountains which were totally like squirting water in like all kinds of directions when they should be squirting like in one particular direction, or like, you know, whatever. So that tells me like some of like the spouts and stuff like that were either clogged with sediment or they were probably somehow like got banged up or something. There were lights that weren't working. There's still this issue of one of the projectors being slightly darker than all the rest of them. And for like half the show, half of the Incredicoaster did not turn off its lights. So that was kind of weird. But other than that, it went pretty well. And I think that they'll probably have all these little bugs fixed before the show officially reopens. Yes.
Well, thank you, Alex, because I couldn't really tell if anything was broken or not. I watched a pretty low quality live stream of it, very pixelated. No one linked the high definition version in the Discord. I guess they just linked the what's below like 480p, 320p version. I don't know.
360. Yeah.
360. There we go.
360 and then 240. Some videos are in 240.
I can't imagine. That sounds like the worst place to live in if all the videos you watch are in 240p. I feel sorry for everybody. But hello, Jay Keith. He says hi, Alex and Matt.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't think Disney has announced when the official opening for World of Color is going to be, because like Alex said, yesterday was a soft opening. Hopefully all the kinks will be worked out by the time it fully opens to the public, but you never know. They could just leave it like that for the rest of eternity until Walt Disney comes back to life and burns all of Pixar Pier down to the ground. We'll see, though. We'll see. We'll update you guys on that. But our second bit of Disney news is a very sad piece of news in my opinion, but we all knew this was coming. Disney cancels the last of the Marvel Netflix shows, with The Punisher and Jessica Jones finally getting put out of their misery, you guys. Punisher just finished its second season, and Jessica Jones is still yet to air its third season. And it got canned even before the third season came out, which is very sad. I think we touched on this excuse me, a few months ago, was it, when Daredevil initially got canceled, and we assumed that the new shows were going to be moving over to the Disney streaming service, Disney Plus, but apparently that's not the case, because it was discovered that there's some sort of clause in the contract with Marvel and Netflix that if the shows get canceled, Marvel can't use the characters again for another 2 years in any other sort of medium, except Punisher. I believe that clause only applies to the core Defenders characters, like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. But Punisher is exempt from that, so we could be seeing more of him coming soon, but probably not. Very sad. I love these TV shows. Daredevil was one of my favorite shows to watch. It was very well put together, a lot of great emotional scenes, but yeah, hopefully... And I guess we'll update you guys in 2 years if Disney decides to resurface, bring these shows back to life. But yeah, in our last bit of Disney news, so this was brought to my attention just a few days ago, you guys. This is very, very interesting, you guys. This information comes to us from InsideTheMagic.com, and links to all these articles will be linked in the description below. A man points a gun at Walt Disney World guest in fight for disabled parking spot. It's like the War of the Worlds, but with Disney instead of worlds. Or I guess it could be War of the Worlds because it happened in Disney World. I'm on those jokes today. Not really, but I could hear the crickets and Jeremy and Alex just sighing. Let's see. Friday, it was found that a 62-year-old woman and her 60-year-old husband, both Disney annual pass holders, were visiting the theme park. It doesn't say what theme park, I believe. Oh, Animal Kingdom. We're visiting Animal Kingdom Sunday, February 10th, when the altercation happened, according to a sheriff's incident report. The woman who was driving waited for a car to back out so she could take the spot in the parking lot when a man driving a gray SUV from the opposite direction sped up and tried to cut them off to get the space. According to the woman, the driver in the gray SUV almost crashed into them, you guys. The report also states that the woman's husband raised his fist at the SUV driver, sort of like shaking his fist at him, like, what the heck you doing? You could have killed us. We're old and fragile. The man in the SUV responded by lifting a semi-automatic handgun above the steering wheel and pointing it at them. The Orlando Sentinel reports that the SUV driver's passenger disputes this account of the situation. So, it's like, I don't want to say this is really funny, but it's like it's not funny, but it's like awful, but it's also kind of funny. Do you guys know what I mean? I'm just gonna not... Anyways, I just thought this would be interesting to bring up to you guys. Alex, what are your thoughts on man raising a gun at two 60-year-old people just trying to have fun at Disney's Animal Kingdom?
Well, to try not to get too far into the Second Amendment, I just think that, like, no matter how angry you are at someone over something as trivial as a parking spot, like, there is no excuse for raising a gun to people, like, especially like these defenseless people, like, it's just like, like, I get it, like, you want to show, like, oh, don't mess with me, but it's just like, it's crazy, it's complete insanity, and there's no excuse for it. And it's just like, and as for Avery's question, because Avery asked, what was someone bringing a gun to Walt Disney World for? As a former cast member, I can tell you there are a lot of people that bring guns to the resorts in the United States every day, and a lot of times what it is they're either former or current law enforcement that are on vacation. And they usually have, like, their own private guns, because, like, I don't know what it is. I think maybe once they get their own, like, issued gun, then they're like, I like guns, I'm going to start collecting guns. And so, like, that usually happens. They usually buy their own handgun, and they take it around with them everywhere they go. And so a lot of times, like, these people, whether they're former or current law enforcement, they often, or even from the military, they often come to the Disney parks and they bring their own gun with them. And while it's not against the rules to bring a gun to the resorts, there are rules in place for the fact that you have to stow your weapons and guns with Disney security. So, if you were to bring, like, for instance, if you were to bring, like, a handgun up to the security booths at Disneyland, the security is trained to politely request that you check in your weapon, and it has to be kept with Disney security for the remainder of your visit to the resort, even if you're staying there for like a week. So there's plans in place for that. But yeah, so it's just crazy because people bring their guns all the time, and it's like, you're on vacation. Like, what do you need a gun for? Especially since you're going on private property, not public property, private property, where you're just going to have to give up your weapon anyway. You know? So it's just like, So yeah, and T Will says, or it could just be that they're in Florida. So yeah, so
Jeremy, what about you?
I mean, there's really nothing to say. It's insanity, you know, and just an example of the absurdity of the times that we're currently living in. Yeah.
You know, I bet if it was a water gun, it would have been a whole different story. But it had to be a real gun. Anyways.
Yes, Matt. Yes.
That has been news from the Peak. Let us know if we missed anything, because I was sort of in a rush to get these news pieces together for this segment. But if we did miss anything, let us know in the comments down below, or tweet at us, tweet at me, just say on the Discord if we missed anything. Yeah, so we might as well get into our few main topics that we have, or a few secondary topics we have. Before we get into the big bomb that is Epcot updates, let's see. I would like to showcase these quote-unquote posters that have appeared. I believe these are backstage in Disneyland and also in Hollywood Studios that sort of promote Galaxy's Edge. You can see there's two of them. Unite the Galaxy and Together We Rise, sort of the Resistance and the First Order. That's what they're called. And there's another one, kind of bad image. You can hardly see it because of the texture of the wall. But it says, "Find your crew." Ooh, cool. That's really cool, I guess. So yeah, there hasn't been any, I guess, like, promotion at all for Galaxy's Edge. And that's kind of weird to me, because Disney started promoting, what was it, Toy Story Land, I feel like, before this point in its sort of construction phase. But I don't know. That could just be me. I could just be not watching enough TV to see all these 15,000 Galaxy's Edge commercials on TV. But I really don't think there has been much promotion of the lands outside of our little bubble that we live in, of just people trying to just talk about it and guess what it's going to be like. But yeah, not really much to bring up here. It's just nice that they actually have things that are related to Galaxy's Edge before it's opening. I don't know. And there's also one other news bit that I didn't write down. I believe the height requirement for the Battle Escape, what is it called? Rise of the Resistance attraction. I believe that's 40. Is it inches, or it's not that's not 40 centimeters. 40, is it inches? No. It's not feet.
It's inches.
Okay, it's inches. It can be feet. But yeah, 40 inches is the limit. So before you guys get on the ride, be sure to measure your child. Make sure they meet the height requirement. Or if not, they'll probably be tall enough to ride it by the time you get to the front of the line. You know, because the lines are going to be so long. But yeah, so that's our little 40 gallons. That's it.
40 gallons. You must be at least 40 gallons to ride this attraction.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What were we saying? Yeah, so that's it for our little Galaxy's Edge news dump. And before we get into anything else, I would like to bring up this image that I saw on Twitter earlier today. This is an image from Twitter or Instagram account, Shanghai_Disneyland. I don't believe this is the official Shanghai Disneyland Instagram account, if they even have one.
Oh my goodness.
But I would just like to bring this to everyone's attention. This shirt, Chip and Dale, with sort of like almost a retro, what would that be, like early 90s, late 80s aesthetic, with the sort of saved by the bell, little shapes and everything, squiggles. But as you can see, Chip and Dale they're hitting the dab on everyone, you guys. I would be scared to be confronted by someone wearing this t-shirt, you guys, because someone wearing this shirt means business, you guys. Chip and Dale.
Oh my God. So, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
I was at Disneyland on Friday, and I was in front of Splash Mountain, and all 6 people on the log dabbed as they went down the waterfall.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's awful, but it's also awesome.
You know, I bet that they were the first people to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Right.
I'd have to agree. You know, this is one of those shirts that I'd like to own. Do you guys know what I mean? I'd like to own it, and I'd like to wear it, ironically, but I wouldn't want to, like, actually wear it, because then people wouldn't know if I'm, like, wearing it seriously, or if I'm, like, just wearing it as a joke.
No.
But,
I don't know anyone who dabs and means it genuinely. Isn't it an ironic just I remember when hashtags first started appearing, like in 2011 or 2012. I was like, where did this come from? And everyone started making fun of it. Nobody started doing it genuinely until about like 2 years ago.
Yeah. You know, I feel like dabbing started, I don't even know when that started. Maybe like, I mean, it only recently came to my attention a few years ago.
Yep. Yeah.
But I'm sure it's been going on since like long before then. But when I first heard of it, I did see people doing it like seriously. Like, I think like Jake Paul always dabbed in his videos. Not that I watch him, but
they are oblivious to the world.
Yeah.
So they mean it. Yeah, you're right. They do mean it. But I don't know anyone else who lives on planet Earth who has a shred of human decency who doesn't dab and mean it with the utmost irony.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still love to own this shirt. So you guys, my birthday's coming up in exactly 2 months. So someone get on it. Mail me this shirt. I'll wear it on stream every day. I don't care. I just want to own this
guys,
shirt.
Matt is turning 13 years old.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like maybe this would make for like a fun pin. Oh, maybe we can have someone draw up some art of like all 3 of us just like dabbing and like put it on the shirt like that and have it say like Matt, Jeremy, and Alex dab. I don't know. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. But I'd buy that for sure. But yeah, I just felt like everybody needs to see this because this is what Disney. I'm not even sure if this is official, to be completely honest. It looks official. The background's family matching. I guess that's his apparel. It's sort of blocked out by the shirt and the hanger. But yeah, I'm guessing this is official. So this is what the kind of stuff, the quality that Disney is putting out these days. I just want to show everybody that before we get into everything else. But oh, we do have this. A few weeks ago, I believe it was a few weeks ago, Alex brought to our attention that Disneyland was constructing new security. What would this be called? Like a security gateway almost? Security booths.
Security check.
Checks.
No, security checks.
Checks. Yes. And I believe they've been in construction for maybe like a month or so. But Alex decided to take these images for us. And Alex, do you have anything you'd like to say about these before we move on?
Oh boy, do I!
Ooh.
Okay, so yeah, like Matt was saying, they probably started construction on this new security checkpoint about a month ago. As we all know, the East, what was it called? The East Project?
Eastern Gateway.
Eastern Gateway. Sorry, everybody. I'm supposed to be the historian here. The Eastern Gateway project, since it's been canceled, has left Disney with the issue of basically how long it takes crowds to get through security on the eastern side of the Esplanade. So basically, like, no problems were fixed with the cancellation of that project. And so Disney was kind of like, you know, they had 12 metal detectors, but it just wasn't enough. And even up to like a few days ago, I was in a line that stretched from the Esplanade all the way out to Harbor Boulevard and down Harbor Boulevard about a half a block. That's how long the line was. And that was one of the lines, mind you. The other one went out to Harbor Boulevard and then up Harbor Boulevard north about a half a block. So those were really long lines, and that was just a few days ago. And that was with 12 metal detectors. Anyway, so they started building this thing about a month ago. I've been watching them. It's like semi-permanent. So it is like concreted into the ground, but if you look up into it when you're inside, it can easily be taken down. You can just tell. It's just like barely like bolted together. But anyway, it kind of looks nice on the outside. It's very bland, but I mean, that's what you want out of a security checkpoint. And
I want my security checkpoint to be Walt's head, and we walk into his mouth. That would be my ideal situation. Anyways, go ahead and continue, Alex.
Okay. So Emmy was asking, was this during opening time or midday? The picture that shows the blue sign that says California Adventure on the left and then Disneyland on the right, that picture was taken early in the morning. Notice there's like no lines to get into that booth. Okay, like people are just walking up to it and pretty much just getting right in. That's because this booth has 24 metal detectors. Okay, and there are 2 baggage check tables per metal detector. I can't do math, folks, but let me tell you, that's a lot. And so literally, it was crazy because I took this photo on Friday, okay, but just the day before when I was at Disneyland, we had those long lines that went out to Harbor Boulevard because they hadn't completed it yet. So that's just amazing, the complete difference. Especially since the fact that Thursday is a Thursday, but this picture was taken on a Friday when it should be much busier. So I just want to commend Disney for building this because it has made things so much smoother. And, people can easily get into the Esplanade. Just fantastic. And the booth looks amazing. Its design and look is very conservative. But you know what? That's okay. It does its job. It looks nice. And the cool thing is each of the metal detectors can swivel out of the way at the end of the day so that way people can just exit out of the gates. Otherwise, in the morning when everyone's going into the park, they do have like a little hallway that they've reserved that doesn't have a security table or a metal detector, and that's the official exit, and it's directly in the center of this checkpoint. So they have a permanent exit for people leaving the resort, but at night they can swivel all the metal detectors aside so that way people can just leave willy-nilly. So anyway, really awesome. I love it. And they're as of Friday, with tons of crowds and a completely jam-packed park, there were no lines to get through this security checkpoint. It was amazing.
Well, that sounds like a dream come true. It's been... I guess they've needed this for a while. I'm trying to think in my head what sort of stage of construction the Eastern Gateway would have been at this point, because when was it... I can't even remember when it was supposed to open. Was it supposed to open in... Wasn't it supposed to open last year at some point? I can't remember.
Yeah, it probably would have opened in time for Christmas of last year had it gone through on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, once again, rest in peace for the Eastern Gateway, everybody. It is missed. I was all for that. But I guess this is good enough. Hopefully Disney is sort of working on plans to, I don't know, make it better. I mean, Alex has already explained that it's already gotten better, but hopefully they're making plans to make it even better. Probably not in time for Galaxy's Edge, but maybe in time for Marvel Land? I don't know what like the next big expansion to the park is going to be. But yeah, on that note,
they're doing a lot of stuff.
Well, there's Marvel Land. There's the big statue that they're gonna put of me on top of the Matterhorn. There's
Galaxy's Edge is opening so soon. It still feels like this intangible idea.
Oh, yeah. So for everybody listening right now, if you're not subscribed to me yet, then you might want to consider this. I have the Signature Select Plus annual pass, which means that the day Galaxy's Edge opens, I'm going to be there filming in 4K my experience at Galaxy's Edge and going to eat at the different restaurants, because by God, I will be eating that day. And I will be trying to check out every square inch of the land as best I can and filming all of it. It might be like a 2-hour episode. I don't know. We'll see. But you better think about subscribing, people, because Matt can't bring you that.
I mean, that is very true. I'm gonna try and be there that day with you, Alex. I'm doing my best to.
What, really?
I'm trying. Well, I guess
so
I
he
should
can
say,
do that.
I guess I should say I'm thinking about it, but I will try.
All jokes aside, that would be really cool if you could do that. If you could come down here and then we could hang out in Galaxy's Edge. Because honestly, like, I don't want to sit next to a bunch of random Star Wars geeks that are
that's like the worst thing in the entire world. No offense to all you hardcore Star Wars fans, but
I might be there with Chris from LMG Vids also. Ooh. So I mean, we'll see. I don't know if he plans to be there on opening day, but I'm pretty sure he will.
Well, I'll need to figure out when the official date it's going to open. If any of you guys, well, I guess no one would know, but I'll figure it out. I do want to try and be there opening day with Alex, and so we can experience the chaos together. I'll let him do all the filming though, because he has his fancy new camera, and I'll just be I'll be the guest in the vlogs this time. But
sweet.
But I guess.
Oh
wow, we have Chris with a K and LMG Vids in the chat.
Oh wow, hey, that's
weird. Yeah, I was gonna say that earlier. Strange.
That is wow. I'm big fans of both of your guys' channels. I haven't met Chris with a K yet though, but I have met LMG Vids, and LMG Vids is a really cool guy. But Chris doesn't seem very cool, in my opinion. But I guess we'll see. Well, I guess I lied. We do have more Galaxy's Edge stuff to talk about. I'm sure you guys remember a while back, Disney announced that they were going to be serving alcohol to guests in Galaxy's Edge, and Disney finally did sort of give out their game plan of how guests were going to be able to, well, and I guess not in a lot of detail, but long story short, guests will be required to stay in is it Ogas Cantina, I think.
Ogas.
Yeah, because Olga is like an actual name. Ogas Cantina, while consuming alcoholic beverages at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland Park. Now, this applies only to the Galaxy's Edge. Oh, God. I just choked on my spit. Now, this applies only to the Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland Park, not in Hollywood Studios, but we were sort of speculating when they first announced that they were going to be serving alcohol in the land about how they were going to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like restrict or monitor guests that were going to be buying and drinking their special fancy, what is it, butterbeer? No, that's the other franchises. Blue Milk, is that? I don't know.
Blue Milk.
But yeah, we were sort of wondering how Matterhorn met 2010 to 2019. Yeah. We sort of gave our own ideas on how they would monitor guests, like having special wristbands on people who bought the alcohol and stuff so they'd be easily identifiable. But the Disneyland Annual Pass Twitter account did confirm that guests who buy alcohol will have to stay in the cantina to enjoy that. So if you guys are looking for any place to avoid in Galaxy's Edge, this would be the place, because it's just going to be filled with a bunch of people who are most likely going to be drunk and ranting about the new Star Wars movies. So just keep that in mind when you go. But Jeremy, what are your thoughts on restricting this beer consume area? I don't know what I'm saying. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on the topic?
Wow.
No, I think that's a good thing, and it seemed obvious that they were going to do that to begin with. There would be, it makes better sense than like limiting it just to Galaxy's Edge in general, and then like you can't go out into the rest of Disneyland with it. I'm glad it's just going to be you can only drink here inside this place and nowhere else. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree, Alex.
I know I've been a anti-supporter of this whole alcohol thing in the park, but I am glad that they have that they're going to have the rule in place that you can't leave the cantina with your drinks. Now all they need to do is just get all the people who like to try alcoholic drinks to go in there, and then we'll lock them all in, so that way the rest of us can enjoy the park.
Yeah,
them. That kind of fell flat, but
this is a good second option. But
actually, in all seriousness, I probably will go in there on opening day if I can get there, and then I'm gonna try a drink. So I'll see. Unlike Matt, I am old enough to drink.
Oh, no, I'll be old enough by the time it opens, because this is the land is supposed to open in June. I'll be old enough by then. I'll be 21. So I'm gonna have like a
congratulations.
I'm gonna have like a 20-hour long vlog of reviewing every drink. No, just kidding. But oh yeah, no,
oh
they're
gosh.
right. I'm 13. Yeah, I'll be 14. Dang it, I forgot. But yeah. So you guys can look out for that, I guess. Yeah, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not gonna be 21. I'm gonna be 14. That's why my voice is so deep.
And that's why it always cracks.
Yeah. Legal drinking age in Bean is 14. Yeah, Chris has got me covered.
You guys should hear Matt. Like sometimes, like before, we'll get ready. We'll have our microphones ready. I'll be like, "Hey, Matt," and then he'll be like, "Oh, hey, Alex." I'm like, "Oh, geez."
I mean, I could be lying to you guys. I could actually be 13. You never know. I guess I'll have to show my driver's license to you guys to prove it. I'll do that after the stream or next week. But I don't have an image for our next topic. But I did want to talk about like I said, Pixar SparkShorts, because I haven't seen a lot of people sort of bringing a lot of attention to those, and I think it's a really good idea. But Pixar SparkShorts is basically sort of like a new initiative that Pixar has launched to try and find the new, I think they use the words creative voices or something like that within the studio. Not necessarily directors, they can be animators or really anybody who I guess works for the studio. They sort of give people a smaller budget and I guess the resources to help them animate and write their own Pixar short. And 3 Pixar SparkShorts have been released already. Pearl was released on February 4th, Smash and Grab on February 11th, and my personal favorite, Kit Bull, was released on February 18th. Yeah, really amazing initiative in my opinion. We sort of went into it in depth a while back on the Discord server, but yeah, I think that's really... I just like to bring attention to this because I think what Pixar is doing here is really great, trying to give a creative voice to sort of the people who wouldn't necessarily get a chance to tell their own stories. Like I said, some of these people who directed and wrote these shorts weren't necessarily directors themselves. They could be really anybody from inside the studio. But Alex, really quickly, what are your thoughts on Pixar SparkShorts?
I think it's a really great idea because a lot of the time, you know, someone comes up with a good idea at Disney, and then what happens is it has to go through the approval process of so many people. I mean, first of all, if one person comes up with an idea, they have to run it through their team, like their peers. And then when their peers agree on it, it has to be run through their management, and up and up and up it goes until like it gets the final go ahead. And honestly, by the time it reaches that point, so much critiques and criticism has come back that the story and the idea is no longer even the same thing it started off with. So these short films are a great way to show the kind of fresh and new styles and ideas that are coming from the people at Pixar. Unfortunately, this kind of thing is not new to Disney. Disney does this kind of thing once in a while, but eventually Disney says, it's not a good idea. Let's go back to what we've been doing. You know, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if like later on this year they stop making SparkShorts and we never hear of it again, because eventually what Disney decides is, you know, like, well, Disney is clean and polished and, you know, and so thought out that it's like these Pixar shorts that don't go through as much scrutiny and are given a green light a lot sooner than normal is kind of something that the company eventually is just going to be like, yeah, we don't want to keep doing that.
Yeah, that'd be really sad if they do end up doing that. I hope they don't. But Jeremy, what about you?
But I think it's very clear in the concept of the SparkShorts that it's supposed to be kind of raw experimentation. It's not supposed to be a final product of someone's an official release of something. It's a way to foster new voices in the field of animation. And so I think if this is a success, if it's popular, then they'll keep doing it. And honestly, the way that Pixar's been talking about it, I think they're not going to rely on popularity to keep doing it. It sounds like, which is surprising given the state of Disney as a whole today, but I'll take it. It sounds like they view this as like a good, noble thing to do for the future of the industry. And I agree. I think it's marvelous what they're doing, fostering new voices. It's not unlike what the Disney company, what Disney was going through in the 30s and the 40s, allowing for his artists to really discover their own unique styles and voices. And by the time you get to the 50s, you have that resurgence of feature animated films to the quality that they were, because it was this great collaboration between all of those distinct voices. And I think if Pixar is fostering and allowing for their artists from all over the company, from the mailroom and beyond, to have a chance to figure out their visual voice, this could bring back another golden age of Pixar films.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what Jeremy said. I believe the wording they used was to help try and find the new bright mind of Pixar. So, I guess from my understanding is if people like them enough, Pixar may end up giving them, I don't know, like a director's spot for a new movie, or maybe they can even be snatched off to another animation company and help bring new life to another company. But according to the sort of promo video they released, there's going to be more than just these 3 SparkShorts, because from what I found, only the 3 that I mentioned are the only 3 that are going to be released on YouTube. The rest are going to be coming to the Disney Plus streaming service once that launches, so be on the lookout for that. I'm very excited to see what the future of this brings for Pixar and I guess Disney as well. But I feel like there was something else I was going to say. Probably not. Yeah, on that note, we're going to get into... I need to take this off. It's tickling my nose. On that note, let's get into the main topic, or I guess topics. This is very, very exciting stuff to talk about. Just the other day, February 21st to be exact, of 2019, not of 2018, the Disney Parks blog released new concept art detailing a, quote, first-of-its-kind play pavilion and new park entrance part of Epcot's historic transformation. So there was brand new details regarding the future of Epcot and the major renovation that they've been teasing since the 2017, what was it, the, oh gosh, what was that like convention, the D23 convention. So yeah, we'll start with the quote-unquote first-of-its-kind play pavilion. Not really sure what that means, but yeah, let's get right into it. Disney unveiled their replacement for the Wonders of Life Pavilion. It is, to my understanding, they're not going to tear down the entire building. Probably just the inside stuff for all of this, so it's not necessarily a replacement, but yeah, like I said, quote-unquote, first-of-its-kind play pavilion. Yeah, I'm just going to quote directly from the Disney Parks blog. Quote, as many of you know, we've got big plans for our multi-year transformation of Epcot, with new experiences that'll wow guests, while keeping true to the original vision of the park. Today, we're excited to share even more of what's to come. As you can see here, changes are coming to the Epcot main... Oh, we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, yeah, so let's talk about the... play pavilion of what they're calling it. Let me see, where is it? Quote, this new space will be devoted to playful fun and feature an innovative city that'll come to life under the dome of the unnamed pavilion previously known as Wonders of Life. The Pavilion's city will be bursting with interactive experiences, your favorite Disney characters, hands-on activities, and engaging entertainment when it opens just in time for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. So this is going to be opening in 2021, I believe, probably alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster that's happening just next door, I believe, in the Energy Pavilion. But there's a lot to unpack here, you guys. A lot of people have been calling it Disney Quest 2.0, Innoventions 5.0, however many iterations Innoventions has had. But let's see. Let's start with Jeremy first. What are your thoughts on this brand new... Oh, okay. Well, then we'll start with me first. Just kidding. I don't want to start. Alex, would you like to start off our discussion here about talking about the first of its kind?
I can start. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm always the fallback guy.
Well, we'll have Jeremy.
I just always know that Alex is always bursting at the seams to start, while I kind of meticulously craft my response.
Calling me fat?
No, I'm not. But I'm not going to go any further than that. So we do this every time, but Alex, I'll only start if you feel like you're not gonna, you don't have anything like you need to get off your chest right away.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I was like,
go
what?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start, and then the conversation will grow, and we'll be riffing off of each other while Matt drinks his Snapple.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start with basically what you said right off the bat, Matt. I don't know. You said a new play pavilion. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. I don't think anybody knows what that means. It was an interesting reveal because it was very vague. There's no details about this at all, only this piece of concept art, which I don't know who. Is it just me, or does all of the new concept art that keeps getting released for different projects makes it even more vague to me, which is I don't think necessarily a good thing. I don't really know. It reminds me very much of the Marvel Land concept art. I don't know what I'm looking at all. I don't know what people are doing. I don't know why people are there. I don't know where each of those places lead off to. I don't get a sense of the wider view of what's going on. It also, I know a lot of people on all over the place on Twitter and everywhere were speculating that looks like it's inspired by Progress City. I know why people are making those connections, because it's supposed to be a city and there's that little Wedway Easter egg hidden at the top of one of the buildings there. Yeah. But to me, this looks nothing like that aesthetic at all. Yes. And I don't know why it'll be at Epcot. I mean, it's weird. It's a weird concept to me. If it's a pavilion about the science of play and the physical and psychological benefits of that childlike playing, which is why we go to the parks to begin with, that could be interesting. But this looks like it's just going to be some interactive thing that has nothing to do with the challenges and solutions of humanity. But I don't know yet. But I'm more confused. I'm very confused about it all. That's where I'll start.
Yeah, I guess the one thing we should point out, let me move my mic just so I can talk correctly. The one thing I should point out, there is, like Jeremy said, there's a Wedway sort of, I guess, Easter egg, whatever, that probably won't amount to anything really. There's also, if you look close enough at the image, there's a lot of hidden Disney characters. So they did say in the article itself that it would feature a lot of Disney characters, but you can see Joy up here, Nick from Zootopia, I think that's Sleeping Beauty over there, and of course Mickey Mouse with his pants up to his armpits, and Edna Mode up here, and
I see Tinkerbell.
Yeah, Tinkerbell right there.
Buzz
yeah, Buzz right there. I think there's probably more that we're missing, but yeah. So I'm just gonna say really quick. I feel like, well, you guys will see in the next piece of concept art, but in the next piece of concept art that we're going to show you that they also released about the new entrance to Epcot, you can sort of see in the background of Spaceship Earth, you sort of see where the Innoventions buildings would normally be. It's just sort of trees. They didn't really draw in the Innoventions building. They just sort of replaced it with like a bunch of greenery, forest stuff. And I feel like, in my opinion, this is probably going to be maybe a replacement for Innoventions, because it was sort of rumored a while ago that they were going to tear down either one of the Innoventions buildings or both of them to sort of open out and expand the area to make it more, I guess, aesthetically pleasing with a bunch of trees maybe and fountains and stuff. But that's sort of just the vibe I'm getting from this, along with the rumors that we've heard in the past. But Buzzy in the chat said, they destroyed my home for this. I feel bad for Buzzy. Oh, well, speaking of Buzzy, we should bring up, I feel like now that they've released this concept art and given the details that they have that it was going to be replacing the Wonders of Life, I feel like that sort of goes along with what people have been saying about how Buzzy has not been stolen, and that Disney removed him intentionally because they were planning on replacing the entire pavilion with this new play pavilion. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Buzzy could be, I don't know, in someone's trunk with a burlap sack over his head. You never know. I'd hate to see that. I hope he's okay. I really do hope Buzzy's okay. But yeah, it's just my opinion that I'm forming from all of this information sort of coming together with this new release that they're talking about. But Alex, what are your thoughts on this new Play Pavilion revealed?
Oh, now you want to know my
opinion. And we've always wanted to know.
Okay. Well, it looks well. Okay, I have to agree with Jeremy that it's a little confusing by the way it looks. And frankly, what I'm afraid it'll end up looking like is like some kind of like electronic indoor food court, honestly. Because like besides the main facades for the individual attractions, behind it is just a painted background. So it's like it's gonna look really flat, really two-dimensional. And I don't know, it just seems cheap to me. And I get it, like, you know, it's Florida. They need certain things to be indoors because of the heat and the weather and whatever else. It's just like, it just seems just like really cheap. Like, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if they actually did build like an actual three-dimensional set that you could walk through, go down the little streets and things like that, and enter actual little buildings and stuff. And of course, that would require building a very large warehouse type building to do it. Mm-hmm. But I think that would look better than just, you know, a big round room with fake facades and a painted background behind each one. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the forced perspective backdrops at DCA where they have the Hollywood or is it Sunset? Whatever. The street goes on to the Hyperion Theater, and then it has this forced perspective look where they got these fake facades, and then it like just disappears into the horizon. And it's a cool effect if you're from the 1980s. But I mean, like, you know, this is 2019, and it's like, I don't know, it just seems a little dated. As many, you know, neon colors as they want to paint this thing, it's still gonna look like it. And that's how I feel.
Yeah. Here, I mean, like, all of this is speculative, of course. They might really creatively use the space. Listen, I don't think they will, but I'm just, you know, giving them the benefit of the doubt because we don't know. That's the thing, is this, it's so vague. Yeah. Even the art is so vague that I have no idea how they're going to use the space. Which is more a problem with the concept art than anything else. But if the consensus seems to be that it's going to be a character meet and greet with some interactive, you know, game stuff here and there. If that's the case, then I have to be completely honest. That's a waste of space. This is an entire pavilion that, first of all, they got rid of an entire pavilion, which was like a weird thing to do to begin with. But then if there's just so much potential for that structure to house a new and exciting pavilion about something very real, about the you know, the challenges and solutions of the stuff we're facing today as a society and how we can fix them in the future. And I think, if it's just going to be this interactive, immersive, state-of-the-art character meet and greet, I think that's a real downer.
But you see, this goes back to what I've been saying, which is Walt Disney World is too big for its own good. Because, like, look at Epcot. Like, they have so much room and so much space, and they built it up so quickly there was no time to let it naturally expand. They felt like we can't build, they felt like, well, we can't build this giant theme park and not have anything in it. So, what they did was they created these massive buildings, which, yeah, at first housed popular attractions. But in my opinion, like, the attractions really weren't that good. They were kind of just like, what's the word? Like, just like, I don't know, not high quality versions of what they should have been. But anyway, my point is now they're stuck with this huge Wonders of Life pavilion that, that is just a building too massive for its own good. And it's too expensive to turn it into something else. Like, they either have to demolish it and put a new building in its place, or use what they have. And obviously what they've come up with is a giant meet and greet center. So it's just like, I just feel like Disney World is too big for its own good. It's full of a bunch of what I call nothingness, in order to fill the gaps.
That sparks. You made a lot of interesting comments there, Alex. That would spark probably a 3-hour podcast. So I don't want to go into all that. You make a really interesting point about Disney World and how the company panicked with it after Walt had died, because they had acquired all of that land and they lost the only person who knew what to do with it. And I think they tried their best, and I think Epcot Center was an inspired idea. I think those original attractions are absolutely one of a kind. There's never been anything like them in a theme park before or since. And because they were so short-lived, we have kind of the remnants of Spaceship Earth, the first half, which I think is an inspired attraction, but they're so short-lived that there's a whole generation of people that really don't know what the potential for a park like that can do and can be, and the quality of and the potential for what a theme park attraction can do. That it's very easy, I think, for people to be like, well, it can't do that ever again. I don't believe that. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, it should just be, Epcot Center the way it was circa 1989. But I do think that Disney specializes in a very serious form of the theme park industry, which is using it to heighten the potential for humanity. I mean, John Hench talks about Disneyland being the architecture of reassurance, that there is a pedagogical nature to going to a theme park, that Disneyland isn't about escaping reality. It's about being more aware and alert in reality. And I think a park like Epcot expands that idea because it was designed by, the people who followed in Walt's footsteps. I think that park was inspired. I don't think all of Walt Disney World is nothingness. It is now, I think, a whole lot of nothing. But it's interesting because it was interesting watching the transformation of what Walt Disney World was going to be to, we'll just make it a kind of a state-of-the-art vacation destination to, we'll just make it a multi-theme park resort, and how that's affected the entire trajectory of the theme park industry.
I probably just lost a bunch of potential subscribers with the things I said about Epcot.
No, that's fine. You should be able to say that because it sparks valuable conversation between people like you and me.
But I would like to hear Matt say pedagogical.
Pedagogical. What does that mean?
You did it. Oh, it's instructional. There's something being passed down not necessarily didactic, like you're hitting someone over the head with a moral or idea, but there's a wisdom, there's something being taught, something being passed down from someone to someone else. And I think in the case of the theme parks, it's like something being passed down from generation to generation, something really grander in that sense.
Well, today I learned what peacock. What was the word? I don't even remember. Anyways.
Right. And with Jeremy's description, he also introduced another new didactic.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I know what that word means either.
It's okay, Matt. I'll include both of those words in whatever we work on next, and you have to really know them.
Perfect.
I won't, because I have to write for your voice, and now I know you don't even know what those words are, so I won't put it.
Yeah. Well, at least now, I forgot already. I was going to say at least now I know what that new word means. But anyways, let's dive a little deeper into the rest of the article, because at the beginning it says, as many of you may know, we've got big plans for our multi-year transformation of Epcot with new experiences that'll wow guests while keeping true to the original vision of the park. Now, that was sort of the line that stuck out to me, because it sort of got me thinking, does Disney at this point know what the original vision of Epcot was? Because from what the previous announcements that they've made with the Guardians coaster and even tearing down a lot of the old pavilions and replacing them with thrill rides, I mean, granted, you can do sort of thrill rides that still may or may not stay true to the original vision of what the park was going to be. But then they start off the article with saying that, and then show this piece of concept art that talks about meeting your favorite characters and then interacting with the characters. It's just very sort of it's just sort of confusing to me. I'd like to know what Disney thinks the original vision of the park is. But they do go on to say later in the article, quote, "This innovative new pavilion is beyond anything we've ever created and is completely unique to Epcot. Built on the power of play, it introduces an immersive and interactive, quote, city where you can explore, create, and interact with some of your favorite Disney characters. This is an experience worthy of our bold vision for Epcot and another signature element of our transformation." So, yeah, that's basically the overall description, vague description of what this new pavilion is going to be. But, yeah, do you guys have anything else you'd like to say about this new pavilion?
I agree with what T. Will is saying in the chat. I don't think the company. I think they probably know, but they don't care what the function of the theme park of Epcot is for. Epcot is a nuisance in the corporate thinking. It's not compatible with that line of thinking, because Epcot Epcot Center was, I think it was viewed more that they were doing a public service, like making a museum. It was a public good. You know, when you hear like Card Walker, who's the former CEO of Disney, talk about Epcot Center, he talks about it as if it's something of national importance. So it was something that was destined to lose money. Epcot's a park that loses the company money. It's not a park that is going to be financially viable, because its ideas are so important and so necessary. So the way the company thinks today, especially with the way it's run, of course they're going to transform this park to just be some very vague, nondescript, to reclaim that word in a bad way. I'm actually using it in a bad way. This nondescript sci-fi adventure IP interactive experience park, which is, I think, which is what my impression is. and I felt this way for a few years now, what they're trying to transform the park to be. It's going to be a vague, thematically vague nightmare. But of course, we don't know. All these new details about what the transformation is going to be are just starting to really roll out. So we will know more within this next year, probably.
Yes. Alex, do you have any closing thoughts on this Play Pavilion concept?
Nope.
All right. Wonderful. That was a great discussion. But moving on, there is another piece of concept art that Disney released as well in conjunction with the first bit. They sort of unveiled this new... was that a sigh of relief that I pronounced the word correctly?
Oh, no. It's a sigh of relief of just looking at this.
Okay. Okay, never mind.
That's nice.
They did release this new piece of concept art about the changes that are going to be coming to the entrance of Epcot. And as you can see, the sort of gravestones that they had before are going to be gone, you guys. It's no longer a very sad funeral home entrance of a theme park. It's going to be expanded open, lots of greenery, lots of fountains. Let's see. I'm just going to quote from the article. Let's see, quote, "As you can see above, changes are coming to the Epcot main entrance, where the plaza will welcome guests with new pathways, sweeping green spaces, and a newly reimagined fountain. This new design will pay homage to the original park entrance with fresh takes on classic elements. As part of the new entry experience, Leave a Legacy photos will be moving into a beautiful setting just outside the park's gateway. Additional significant redevelopment will begin between Spaceship Earth attraction and the World Showcase Promenade. Blah, blah, blah. More details will be coming at a later date." So, again, very vague, but this is a way, I guess, like on the polar opposite of, I guess, when it comes to vague pieces of concept art. With this, you can actually tell what's going to be coming, unlike the previous, previous piece of concept art that they released. This looks wonderful. I'm very happy with the way this looks. I guess a lot of people didn't really like the Leave a Legacy sort of gravestones, like I said, sort of blocking the entrance. Now you can see it's more, like I said, more open. Feels a lot more fresh, and this is a very low res image. I'm sure there's higher res concept art images of the concept art, but I think these flags here are the original logo for Epcot, and if so, that's pretty cool. Also the fountain, which is sort of reminiscent of, I've seen that figure before in like Epcot, but I don't know what it is. It looks cool though. I've always liked the way that sort of design of that sort of figure looks. Again, I don't know what it is. I've seen it before though. I swear I've seen it somewhere. But yeah, new fountain. It looks really nice. We'll start with Alex this time. Alex, what are your thoughts on this new entrance to Epcot that's going to be coming?
Looks wonderful on paper, but if there's anything I've learned about concept art, it's remove 90% of the greenery, and that's what you're going to get.
Okay. Jeremy, what about you?
I think it looks wonderful. I think it looks far better than what's there now. The funny thing is, I actually learned this just this week because everyone's been talking about this, is apparently one of the last things John Hench designed were those Leave a Legacy statues. I didn't know that. It's really interesting. I don't think it's his best work, but but I don't think the Leave a Legacy statues are particularly like disturbing and awful, and but this is far better and more more of an open space that the original entrance had. But it's interesting. I tweeted this, but who cares about Twitter? But I'll just say it here because it'll be worth more on the podcast. But it seems that Disney in releasing these weird kind of contradictory new attractions in parks, alongside of those announcements, they release these like exterior park-wide like changes that are like really good and well thought out and consistent in overall park theming. But the problem is it's almost like it's a service to the fans because they kind of like know they're right or something. Mm-hmm. But like because like think about with Galaxy's, the announcement of like Galaxy's Edge and everyone's first reaction was, what? That doesn't work in Disneyland at all.
Yeah.
So and like to compensate, they were like, oh yes, by the way, we're going to be cutting the Rivers of America in half, but don't panic. We're going to do this wonderful redesign of the Rivers of America. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh, see, that's more thematically consistent with Disneyland. That's plussing Disneyland, not Galaxy's Edge. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing here. This is bringing Epcot to a level of, aesthetic beauty and not, the previous concept art that we saw. But if what's inside that entrance is without substance, I don't see how, to use their words against them, this park will be timeless or relevant at all. So, but this looks wonderful, and I can't wait to see what it looks like in person.
Yeah, I agree. And as I was mentioning earlier, you can sort of see, again, this is concept art. They're not really focusing on the Innoventions buildings, but, back here it's just nothing but greenery. I mean, that could be actual
that part doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. People focus on that. This is concept art for the main entrance of the park. It doesn't matter what's behind it.
Yeah.
The focus is the main entrance. This is actually pretty decent concept art.
I mean, or it could be concrete confirmation that the buildings are going to be gone. I mean, you never know. But it's probably what Jeremy said. The focus is meant to be here on the entrance, not on the background. It is kind of strange, though, to me at least, that this is the second piece of concept art that Disney has shown off that doesn't have the Innoventions buildings. The first being the one that they unveiled at the D23 Expo in 2017, which they haven't officially released online, mind you. And this is the second one without it, so I don't know. It's just very interesting to me, at least. Could be a coincidence, but I mean, you never know. But yeah, I guess. Do you guys have any closing thoughts you'd like to say about this new entrance to Epcot?
No.
Nothing that I already just didn't say. I think it looks great. And if anything, we'll have this lovely entrance to sit in.
Yeah, you just sit outside the park. You don't actually have to go inside. That'd be cool. Let's see. Well, there is a smaller, I guess, less important announcement in the Disney Parks blog post. Let's see. They do say that a new sort of preview center, they call it. I'll just quote from the article.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're as excited as we are about these upcoming projects, you'll soon be able to look into the future with us at a new experience center coming to Epcot later this year. The experience center will be located in the Odyssey Events Pavilion and feature interactive exhibits to help visualize park projects throughout this unprecedented period of transformation. Pounding their fist like it's a... Yeah.
Well, it's certainly transformation. It's certainly transformation because they're totally transforming the parks into what they want them to be. That's cool. They always do that. They always have a preview center when there's a big project happening in a park. So that'll be really cool.
Yeah, hopefully new information. I guess this is new information, but I hope more detailed information gets revealed there. Probably not. I'm guessing it's probably going to be mostly focused on maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster and the Ratatouille ride. I'm guessing they're just going to have these pieces of concept art maybe up on the wall with like the subtitle that says coming soon 2021 or whatever. But all the real details going to go into the Guardians coaster and the Ratatouille stuff. Probably. I don't know. most likely, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. It doesn't say when it will be opening. It just says later this year, so maybe after D23 in August. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I guess that's it for the main topics of the show. If you guys have anything you'd like to add in the chat, you can do so by typing in the chat, or if you have anything you'd like to add, if you're listening later on, you can type in the comments below. I read all the comments. I think Alex goes through the comments of the podcasts as well. I've seen him reply to a few of them. So
I do it twice a week.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so we'll be reading the comments to see what you guys have to say about these new unveilings for Epcot. And on that, you know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't done a Words with Walt.
I know.
I don't have a quote this week. I just felt like we should bring it up. Well, Words of Walt, guys, will be returning next week, you guys. I promise. It's been a long...
You keep saying that.
I know. I keep saying that. But we'll come up, Alex and I and Jeremy will come up with some good quotes that we haven't already written or haven't already said on the show in the past. Next week, you guys, back in full force, Words with Walt. But until then, we do have a story that was submitted to us by...
Wait!
Oh, Alex. Yes?
You forgot my last topic. I heard a rumor about Astro Orbiter.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I don't remember exactly where I got this rumor. I want to say Brandon Blogs, so shout out to him if that's where it came from. So we all know Astro Orbiter at Disneyland in tomorrow getting a complete refurbishment from top to bottom. It was completely taken apart, and I think at the moment it is in the process of being rebuilt. However, the rumor goes that I assume for Galaxy's Edge opening this summer, and also with the idea in mind that Disneyland's 65th is coming up, they have decided to make some slight alterations to the appearance of the Astro Orbiter. And basically, the rumor goes that it's going to come back in the same place, same spot, but it's going to look like the jetpacks from Shanghai Disneyland's Tomorrowland. And so it's funny because it's possible. And that's the thing that I find interesting about that rumor, is that it's not too far off. Because the whole top half of the Astro Orbiter is really just for show anyway. It's just decorative. Removing the top half of the Astro Orbiter will do nothing to the ride system. So if they removed the top half, what are you left with? A sphere with ride vehicles sticking out of it. And that's basically what the jetpacks look like. And it's a very conservative look, but also kind of futuristic looking. I mean, a sphere is futuristic. I mean, just think the Death Star. And so anyway, it wouldn't be too far off. And I would not be surprised if the ride system will be perfectly fine supporting brand new jetpack style seating, because it was built in 1998 with a very strong design designed to hold a lot of weight. So it's possible. I just don't know how likely it is, but I do think I wanted your guys' opinion on it, because my basic opinion is if it comes back looking like the jetpacks, bravo. That's a nice look that definitely I think is better than the Astro Orbiter's current look. So what are your guys' thoughts?
Oh, well, I'm looking at pictures of the jetpacks, and I don't think it looks good. I don't like the look of it. I mean, this is just an initial impression, and I can't picture it. I can't picture that being the kind of the welcoming image into Tomorrowland, into what our Tomorrowland is. but it could be the first step in how they're going to reimagine the whole Tomorrowland in general. So we'll see.
For those of you guys that don't know what they look like, I pulled up these images on Google. It's an interesting design, to say the least.
I like it. I think it looks cool.
I mean, yeah, it does look cool, but I agree it doesn't really fit, I guess, with our Tomorrowland. But then again, nothing really fits in Tomorrowland, in our Tomorrowland. So
currently, yeah.
So I mean,
listen, I'll give it a chance. Maybe if I see it in the actual space, it'll change my mind. I think it takes some getting used to. It's a very new take on that style of ride. So maybe it will. Maybe it will work wonderfully.
The only thing is, like, keep in mind, people, that even if they do make it look like this, it won't look exactly like that because of the way that the original ride design is created. It doesn't support the exact dimensions or the clearances of the armatures, things like that. Basically, yeah, if you zoom in on that picture of the Astro Orbiter, it's probably going to come back looking like just like that, but without the top half. So it'll probably be repainted gray, and it'll look just like that with the little triangular fins along the bottom sphere of it, but without the spheres on top and stuff like that, without that big that big contraption up on top.
Mm-hmm. Well, that could be neat. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I'm welcome to any change in Tomorrowland, even if it's... Well, I guess I'm not welcome to any change, but... Change would be nice, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
You're welcome to progress.
Yes.
You're open. I'm losing my words.
Yeah, I'm open to progress in Tomorrowland. Hopefully the rumor's true, but...
Anyway, that was all I wanted to say, but I have to get cooking dinner now, you guys.
Oh, okay.
Tonight is...
What are you making us?
I am making homemade macaroni and cheese with bacon.
Oh, man. That sounds good.
Bacon, macaroni, and cheese.
Well, good luck with that. Hopefully it turns out...
Did I mention the cheese?
The cheese.
Lots of cheese.
Hopefully it turns out amazing. I'm assuming you'll mail Jeremy and I some as well once you finish, so we'll be looking forward to that.
I have a whole box of business envelopes.
Okay.
The kind with the little clear window on the side so you can see the address. So that way you'll be able to know, as soon as you get the envelope, you'll know there's macaroni and cheese.
That is a wonderful idea. Thank you, Alex. Thank you for joining us
guys.
on this episode. And of course, guys, go subscribe to Alex. He's going to be making new videos, like he said earlier in the show. Link is in the description to his channel. And yeah, I guess we can all say bye to Alex. Bye, Alex.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Oh, wow. He just dipped straight out. I was expecting him to stick around for a couple more seconds. But... before the stream ends, we do have a special Matt Hosts Ghosts story. And we do have one continuation from Nate that we'll be getting into next week. But this one comes in from Andrew, who is currently in the chat. He was here earlier. I don't think he's here anymore. But yeah, let's get right into this week's Matt Host Ghosts.
Welcome to Matt Hosts Ghosts.
And if you guys would like to submit your own spooky stories to be read on the show, you can email them to me, ytmatterhornmatt@gmail.com, or you can send them through a message on Discord. Just click on my profile picture and then it should come up with an option to send me a message. They can be real life stories that maybe you saw a ghost, maybe you got abducted by aliens and you'd like to share it. Or it can be a sort of spooky fiction that you'd like to write up for the show. Yeah, either or. you can send them in to us. Yeah, like I said, this one comes from Andrew, and it's titled The Target. When I saw this, I thought it was about a spooky story that happened in Target, but I don't think it's that. I think it is about a Target, not necessarily the chain of retail stores. I've not read through this. I don't think it'll be a meme per se, because Andrew's not really one to write meme stories like these. It's not too long either, so we'll get right into it. This is The Target by Andrew. It started off like any other day. Ron drove to work, briefcase in hand, and the gears of his mind turning, and his attention on the packed sardine can of an elevator that awaited him. Full of people, he stated half-heartedly, "Level 3, please." The elevator rose up awkwardly, similar to the mood of the people packed together in the crammed and humid gray steel box. A chime rang and Ron stumbled out on the third floor. He quickened his pace to his desk in the far back of the office, where he sat down to begin another long and boring day. You see, Ron worked for a secret government agency named the Post Sightings Investigators, or PSI for short. Their job was to deal with the aftermath of alien encounters. Now, throughout the history, there have been countless extraterrestrial encounters, mostly taking place in Roswell, New Mexico. When these aliens would descend from their spacecraft, they almost always would instantly perish due to the atmospheric change. This is why no one in the common public has ever seen a life form from a different planet due to this strange circumstance. These dead aliens, nicknamed the Assassins for their dark red, slanted eyes, have to go somewhere. And that is where the PSI comes into play. They would transport the deceased assassins, store them in large tubes on the second floor of the office, and would daily take them out and study their bodies' vastly different life support systems and whatnot. While this may sound like an interesting job, Ron worked as one of the many accountants for the PSI. Investigating the inner workings of an alien costs great amounts of money, so naturally accountants were very much needed. Churning out numbers day in and day out was quite the exhausting job that Ron, while getting paid generously, did not find thrilling. The day flew by with Ron's head spinning around and around with a whirlwind of numbers and dollar signs. Work concluded by 5:00 p.m. and currently it was 4:15 p.m. Things today were different though. This time Ron was given keys to close up the facility. It was a large building, and the burden of locking up the office rotated throughout all the employees. It usually took a solid 30 minutes just to check every door. As everyone shuffled into the elevator, Ron longed to be one of those lucky few, off on their way home, away from the humdrum of their jobs. He made his rounds on the third floor and then took the elevator down to the second floor, where the assassins were kept. Ron always got the chills whenever he went to where they were held. He knew the assassins were dead, but the idea of lifeless alien bodies unsettled him. It was mostly dark in the containment room, and rows upon rows of green lights illuminated the room. When a green light was shown, it meant that the tube where the aliens had been kept closed, and when it turned red, it meant that the tubes were open. Everything seemed in order, but just as Ron was about to leave, he spotted one glowing red light toward the end of one of the rows. This didn't alarm him at first. It was common that after an alien had been examined and placed back in his capsule, a scientist would accidentally not fully close a tube. Thus, a red light was showing, and this notion of a not poorly closed capsule was on Ron's mind as he trotted towards the tube's location. Just then he heard the slam of the door he had entered through, and he began to feel apprehensive in the now pitch-black room. Ron brushing it off as the wind walked briskly towards the tube. He stared in disbelief when he found it to be empty, with no alien in sight. Then a wet drop of some slimy substance fell onto Ron. He looked up and froze in sheer terror. There, clinging to the ceiling, was a four-legged, dark green being. His head was diamond-shaped, and his teeth were eerily shimmering in the darkness. His eyes were a deep blood red, glowing like hot coals from some raging fire. To protect him from the atmosphere, the assassin had obtained a gas mask, which further fueled his terrifying look. Ron didn't know how the alien was alive, or when he escaped, but he did know it was time to run. As he sprinted for the door, the extraterrestrial screeched out an ear-piercing sound that caused the room to shudder in fear. Its foul body flew to the ground as the assassin lunged itself towards the helpless human being. Ron saw the elevator and dived through its doors and stood up frantically to press the level 1 button. The alien screeched again as the elevator's doors shut. Just as the metal doors were about to close, the assassin's razor-sharp claws crammed its way through the crack of the elevator. Ron screamed in agony as the alien grabbed him and held him in the air. Then a grotesque voice deep within the assassin arose as it spoke. "Welcome, Ron, to the demise of mankind. You will soon find out that we assassins always get our target." And when the elevator doors shut, the screaming ceased to ever exist. Now the assassin was out on the run. Many have speculated that he is headed back to Roswell to board his spacecraft and to descend back to his home planet where he will plan to organize a widespread invasion. I, for one, know this is true. You see, I know exactly where the assassin is right now. He's in New Mexico, but not yet in Roswell. He's in a small neighborhood in a small city, snarking through the back roads of the desert. But wait, he has stopped. He's locked onto a house in the neighborhood. The assassin has The assassin has heard an inviting voice he wishes to investigate. Very quietly, he has climbed into the house and now sees a bedroom with a warm light illuminating from the base of its door. As he nears the door, he hears a friendly voice exclaim loudly, "Hey there, mountaineers!" Its deathly red eyes instantly glow as he slowly opens the door and spots a man sitting in his chair. "Matt, if I were you, I would look behind you right about now. You might just be his next target." And that is the target. Thank you, Andrew, for that wonderful story. I probably should have read through that first. I didn't think I'd be in it. But yeah, thank you, Andrew. That was really great. I really enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoyed that as well. You could probably hear me laughing as I read ahead and saw the "Hey There, Mountaineers" part. But nonetheless, if you guys would like to send in your own spooky stories, like I said, you can email them to me, ytmatterhornmatt@gmail.com, or you can send them to me through Discord, either or, whichever you prefer. If you don't have a Discord, you can email them. But it is that time, everybody, that time where the show must come to an end. We already said bye and thank you to Alex, so now it's time to say goodbye to Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy, for joining us today on the show. It's always a pleasure to have all three of us together talking about Disney.
It's always the best. Always good to be here.
Yeah, Jeremy will most likely be returning at some point in the future.
I'm on probation.
I guess we'll do another shout out for Historyland. If you guys haven't seen the latest episode of Historyland, go check it out. I would highly recommend it. Also, Commentary Land will be coming this Friday as well, where Jeremy and I will sort of go in depth as to I don't have a description for the show. I don't think.
The episode plays in the background and we talk about our process and different things that pop up as, I don't know what we'll talk. I mean, they'll all be about the episode. All the comments will be about the episode. It usually ends up being about our process, our regrets, things we were trying to do, the evolution of an idea, something like that. But give those a watch because they're interesting. They deserve more views, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if you're interested in why we do the things we do, with Historyland. I think they are worth a watch.
Yeah, there's a full playlist. We have 3 episodes so far, I think, with a 4th.
4. 4 of them.
Yes, that's correct. We have 4, with a 5th, like I said, coming this Friday. And we're also working on something new that will hopefully be coming this Wednesday. I don't want to give away any details, but be on the lookout for that, the channel, on Wednesday. Very, not the most original idea, but I think it'll work very well with what we're trying to do, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, you guys can follow Jeremy on Twitter. Link will be in the description below. And yeah, we hope you all enjoyed this episode of Matterhorn Mondays. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, guys, so you don't miss a single episode of not just the podcast, but of any other content we decide to put out on the channel. Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts on everything we talked about, whether or not you're tall enough to ride the Battle Escape, Rise of the Resistance, that's what it's called, the Rise of the Resistance attraction in Galaxy's Edge, or we want to hear your thoughts on the future of Epcot, about the new pieces of concept art they released this past week. And yeah, that's just about gonna wrap it up. We hope you all have a great, big, beautiful